Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League live stream. Hi Ashish, hi Varun. Just let me know if you guys can hear me and the video is correct as well. Perfect. Okay, so how was the international break for everyone? And it's good to be back, to be very honest. Not really good because our teams are in dismay at the moment and it's all really bad with the injuries. But yeah, sorry if there are any audio issues because I have kind of throat infection, so there's going to be some disturbance at times. Hi, Ojasvi. Hi, Atharva. No, I have not gotten Grealish. I have not gotten anybody at the moment. We'll quickly switch to transfers and we'll talk about the injury updates. At the moment, Ashish, answering your question, you have one free transfer, Salah and Grealish. Grealish should be fine. He's traveled with the squad for the England game, which is I think tonight or tomorrow. But he's fine. It looks like, by the looks of it, he'll be making it to the 11 for the Chelsea game. Especially with Thiago Silva not being able to play that match, I feel like Chilwell will start that game. If players get tested for COVID, no, I'm fine. I think I'm good and I'm fit. Chester, hi. What do you think? What would you do, Foden and Salah? Yeah, I have to discuss about it. I was pretty much sure that I'll keep Salah on my bench, and that should be it. I think he will not be missing. I thought he would not be missing out the Brighton game, but now since he's tested positive again, there's a chance that he does not make it to the Brighton game, which makes it tricky for transfers for me because I had planned a Foden move and a -4 to remove Kane as well, or maybe Son. So now, keeping that in mind, we'll have to look at what to do with Salah as well. Can you guys hear me? Who to keep, Kane or Werner long term? Long term, Kane. He looks like he's in the form of his life. And with Werner, probably get in ZH because he is much more involved. Looks like at the moment. And Werner is playing good because he has a second striker alongside him, which is Tammy Abraham. I'm not really confident how that would turn out when Pulisic is back or maybe when Havertz is back, who will take up his place inside the box and take up a lot of his shots as well. Tottenham Cancelo is one of the best attacking defenders at the moment in the league. The only concern is when Mendy is back, but I don't think with Pep being really confident about Cancelo, he should be nailed on for a really long time. And at 5.5, he's a really good pick, especially with City's fixtures turning around. Should I replace Salah? So we'll start off with this. Should we replace Salah? So as I said, I was talking about it that if he was tested negative tonight, it would be a very straight bench him situation and then play him against Brighton. But now the rule, as far as I know, is that he'll have to get tested again, and if after he's tested negative, he has to still go under a 10-day isolation period or something like that before he can start playing. So I think you should probably wait till Saturday, and if there's no news of another test or he's not tested negative by then probably sell him because then his next three fixtures are kind of tricky. I mean, they play Leicester this week, which he's not playing for sure. He might miss Brighton, and then he has Wolves. Wolves is not the kind of fixture you want to bench a player for 2 weeks and then play him. It's not like everyone's going to captain Salah for Wolves unless you plan to do so. So if he's not tested again negative by Saturday, probably remove him for the next three fixtures. Move on to Bruno, who has three comparatively easy fixtures, or even De Bruyne as a long-term move, and then get back Salah after the Wolves game. Now I say this because his current price is 12.3. He'll be dropping in price tonight. Bruno is going to rise in price tonight, at max tomorrow, and probably by the time his current selling price for you guys would be 12.1, just like me, because I bought him at the very base price. So it's not much of a loss. A zero point 0.1 loss for 3 weeks, like for a 3 week span, is not much in my opinion. He might just reduce to 12.1 or 12 itself as well. So I think if he does not test negative by Saturday, sell him. Abhi Sharma, thanks. I have two free transfers. I have Salah Robertson, Bruno, Kevin De Bruyne. For Salah, yeah, looks like those are the two players. My top picks for Salah would be De Bruyne and Bruno. I would also fancy Mane, but I'll have to look. You'll have to look at his stats more, underlying stats more deeply, and the fact is that Liverpool do not possess the same threat without Salah. Also, a lot of injuries for Liverpool at the moment. There's no Van Dijk, no Gomez, Trent is out. So it really hampers the Liverpool assets. You might probably look altogether ditching the Liverpool assets for the next 3 weeks without Salah. Do I do have Sterling and Ruben Diaz, Chilwell, and Lamptey in defense. What to do with Robertson? With Robertson, it looks like he is a sell for me, but it could be a blessing in disguise where I can keep him for the next three as a cover from Liverpool because eventually they need to score goals to win. So I think if I'm removing Salah, I'll probably keep Robertson for the next three and then replace him with a City defender. Leicester defenders are also a good clean sheet potential, and even Cresswell. Is ZH and Watkins a good move in for Kane and Barkley? Uh, I think ZH is a good move, but I'm not really sure about Watkins. His fixtures are good, but the fact that he isn't great attacking wise in all games is something that bothers me because he attacks well in a couple of games and then he blanks for a couple of games as well. For long term, for his good run of fixtures, probably for the next 3, 4, 5 games, it's a good one, but not long term. Emerald will discuss captaincy in detail. Hey Chaz, welcome to the stream. Son, what to do with Son and Tottenham? That is and Kane. That is the second question of the stream. And for me, it looks like I posted Son sell, and a lot of people were saying why should we sell Son and why should we sell Tottenham assets altogether because the highest scoring forward and midfielder in the game. But if you look at it in a different perspective, they have seven fixtures which are very tough. They start off with City, Chelsea, they've Arsenal, Crystal, Liverpool, Leicester, and Wolves. I don't see them scoring more than 2 goals or maybe at max 3 goals in any of these fixtures. Now, if you look at the price, it's a 9.6 and 11 million. Can you find other players who are less owned and can provide the same amount of points in these seven fixtures? I think yes, the likes of ZH, Bruno, probably even Foden, Jota, Grealish, Zaha, all can provide good returns over the next 5 or 6 fixtures. Vardy, Werner, Marshall, there are so many options in the forward as well. Now the point comes is, do you want to own a 55, 58, 60% owned player and stick with about the same 5, 6 points each game week, or do you want to go for a really low owned player and jump up the rank? Because now is the time that all the ranks will get shuffled because the team templates will get changed, especially with the injuries and fixture turns. So, in my opinion, selling them right now is the correct decision. You can still own one of them, but in that case, I would go with Kane because his underlying stats are better. But ditching them altogether for another player is not a bad idea because the other players will provide the same number of points with lower ownership, which will help you rise in rank. That's the entire logic behind selling Sun and Kane, and it feels like the best move. It's not like you're going to sell them forever. As soon as the fixtures get or the tough fixtures get over, game week 16, 17, 18, 19, they'll have a double game week with Aston and Sheffield United in it. So you definitely want them back. And at the moment, it looks like a sell to me. Yeah, I'll be taking such pauses because of the throat infection. I need to stop talking at once in a while. Would you advise getting Grealish and Watkins both? Not both. I would actually go with Grealish over Watkins. Stuck with Size, Podence, Mitchell, and Klitsch. Views on these four. Klitsch is decent. Mitchell is injured, so he's 4 million. He probably is a bench filler. Put him on the bench. Podence, upgrade him because I don't see him. He plays very nice, but he doesn't pass. Like Wolves try to attack much more often in the last 10, 20 minutes, and he doesn't make to that slot. He's usually subbed off around the 55, 60 minute mark. And Size, I think he has a chance to start this game week, but as soon as that is done, switch to Killman. Should I get Grealish or Zaha? Tough call. Zaha is nice fiction. The next three are good fixtures for Zaha, but overall, long term, I would go Grealish. Should I keep Jimenez or replace for Vardy? Do it. Replace him for Vardy. Probably if it's a hit, don't replace him this week because Vardy has Liverpool and Jimenez has a relatively easier game, which is Southampton. So probably hold for this week, but next week definitely do it. Is Fornals a definite starter long term? Yes. I think Benrahma will not replace him. The formation change will still allow Fornals to play quite a lot of minutes. Yota for the next three. Yota is kind of pick like Foden. I mean, you can buy him for the next three. You can actually keep him for the good run of fixtures for Liverpool, but don't expect a lot of goals or assists each game, or don't expect a return each game week. That's not going to happen. That's the same exact problem with Foden. I think I read an article that said that Thiago is much more injured as Liverpool are not reporting it, and so it is. By the looks of it, it looks like he'll miss December as well. So that guarantees a spot for Jota for the next 5-6 game weeks, because Liverpool will stick to that 4-2-3-1 formation where Jota starts. So, in my opinion, even I was considering him for. I have two 6.4 or 6.5 players in my team, Foden and Fornals. I might just get Jota for one of them once all of my injury concerns are dealt with. Walker or Telles, quality not price. It's a tough one. I feel like since City will keep more clean sheets, Walker. Uh, it's I'm hoping it's not Walker Peters from Southampton. It's Walker from City, and I feel like Walker is the guy to go with. Telles does possess a lot of assist threat through corners and set pieces, but I still go Walker. Come on, guys, let's get to 150 likes. Make the thanks for that benchmark. Everyone who's watching the stream has not liked the stream. Go and hit the like button. Adding on is bringing Grealish for Kevin De Bruyne a good move. For Kevin De Bruyne, I wouldn't do it when City has such good fixtures. Thanks, Chaz. Is Fornals a long-term starter? Yes. ZH, what to do with ZH? Just play him. Don't remove him from your team. Just play him. Vardy or Werner? I currently have Werner. Probably play Werner this week, and then hope you can probably even captain him this week. And then next week you might want to shift to Vardy for the next three fixtures for Vardy. Those are the really juicy fixtures for him. Bamford or Watkins for game week 9. If you ask me particularly for game week 9, I would still go Bamford. I think Leeds are creating too many chances for Bamford to finish off, and I feel like he eventually will score more points than Watkins. For the next five, maybe Watkins, but overall, I still prefer Bamford because the quality of chances and the number of chances Bamford is getting is way too much than Watkins. So that naturally will lead him to score more goals. ZH and Vardy or Bruno or Vardy for next three fixtures. That's exactly the dilemma I am in at the moment, considering how West Brom play five at the back and Bruno at the home is in the same. I don't really feel that the Bruno home and away thing is really big and really worth considering, but it's the exact same dilemma I am in. But I was actually planning Kane out, Vardy in, and Foden out, and had the money to bring in Bruno, either Bruno or ZH or Grealish. So if you I would actually go with ZH or Bruno unless you want to captain Bruno for West Brom. But apart from that fixture, he next plays Southampton, which is not an easy side to beat, and then he plays West Ham, which again are a very tricky defensive side this season. So I would probably go ZH because it's more safe option. Unless you're going to captain Bruno for West Brom, you might take a punt on him. Which West Ham asset to buy in defense? Cresswell, Masuaku Kufal. I think Cresswell is the best because he's on set pieces. He's much more attacking in terms of assist threat than the other two. But I'm captaining Aubameyang against Leeds. Yes, Leeds are poor at the back. Aubameyang is a good option. It is not the best. I mean, it's not going to be the most popular option because not many players or managers own Aubameyang. But if you have Aubameyang, you can fancy captaining him since you already held on to him for so long. Son versus Man City playing a high line isn't a decent pick. See, the fact that City have not considered a lot of big chances that cannot be denied. And Tottenham, if you see their stats, like in the last 4 game weeks, they've not been that impressive. All of their major stats, big chances created, big chances, shot inside the box, have almost half from the first 4 game weeks. So you can clearly see there's a dip of form. Also, the fact that everything is not going to go through Sun. Against City, it might be a case where Sun goes really wide and sticks to the wide line, and maybe Bale is put into the job of getting inside the box, and he eventually will take up a lot of chances for Tottenham. So it's not the best pick to have, but if you don't have an option for, in my case, I might have to sell Salah. So then, in that case, you have to play Son. It's not a bad pick. There's see when I'm saying that sell Tottenham assets does not mean that they'll not get returns. They'll definitely get returns because they are a team in form. But will they get returns as high as a Grealish or a ZH or a Bruno or Kevin De Bruyne? That's the question you want to deliberate on, and that's the decision you want to take. For a 1 game week punt over against City, I would fancy Sun because the highline, but I don't expect a lot of goals. Probably an assist, but not a goal. So you missed your advice on Salah to sell him now or wait for the Saturday COVID test. Wait for the test. I think they will again approach for a COVID test till Saturday. If they don't, then we don't. We're probably shooting in the dark, and then we don't have an option. In that situation, I would probably sell him for a Bruno or a Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not really sure and confident for Mane because I know that the long balls which Van Dijk or Trent deliver, or the crosses through Trent, are not going to come in. So I'm not really confident on Mane, on captaining Mane. Will Chilwell recover? I think he will recover. He's in the squad for the England game. Salah missing only one game? No, not really sure. He might miss two because of his positive test today. Doubling up on City's defense or attack for the fixtures runs have two City players. Double on their attack. Always when a team has good run of fixtures, try to double up on their attack so that you can maximize on their fixtures and rise in rank really fast. Allison, Mings, Chilwell, James, Fernandez, Son, Saint Maximin, Jota for Bamford, Kane, Calvert-Lewin. Any suggestions? Not really. Apart from Allison, that's a lot of money on a keeper, especially if you have a substitute keeper as well. So probably downgrade him. And Saint Maximum out for me. I feel like he's not the guy to own. Apart from that, I don't see a lot of changes. Tottenham assets, as we're discussing, probably remove one of them for a City attacker. My defense is Robo, Regulion, Dallas, Lamptey, Mitchell. What should I do with Regulion and Robo? Probably Robo to Chilwell. And if you don't want differential punt, go for Cancel or Ruben Diaz. Salah missing only one game. No. Is Cancelo and Reece James long-term starters? Cancelo looks like he's a starter for a while, but Reece James isn't. I feel like Reece James. I posted a story last game week. We couldn't have the deadline stream, but I posted a story where clearly explicitly mentioned that he's been provided a red card for the UCL game. So he's going to miss the next two UCL matches, and that is where Aspilicueta will have to start. And Lampard has clearly mentioned that he's going to rotate his players a lot. So I mean, he wants to manage their time. So I for the next three games, it feels like Reece James will be starting, but it can't be. Obviously, it's not a long-term starting pick. Kane replaced Bruno Bamford Jimenez. Bamford. West Ham defender out of Kufal Masuaku Balbona. I would go Kufal because he's hogging up a lot of bonus points. De Bruyne or Salah? De Bruyne at the moment because Salah is injured. Salah took ADB for -4 and is it a good move? Yes, it's a good move considering his injury concerns. Do it near the deadline. All of the moves we are planning tonight, except for Bruno, I think Bruno is going to rise in price tonight or maximum tomorrow. So if the Bruno move is really cut to cut, which is like if you have the exact money for Bruno, do it tonight. Otherwise, just wait till the deadline. DCL hold or sell? Hold for the next three. Probably after that, we could look to sell him for a differential player. I have both Warner and Kane. Which one? I have to switch one for Bamford. Who should I pick out? That's a tough one. I would pick out Kane because Werner has decent fixtures. Um, we answered Salah substitute or keep on the bench. We discussed that if he's tested positive again on Saturday or Friday night, then remove him, or we can still look to bench him. What do you think about Newcastle defender Lewis? I would not really go with Newcastle defenders because there are much more value picks available in the game. Although Newcastle have conceded the least number of big chances in the game, but that does not reflect in the score lines. They're clearly conceding like poor chances and goals, so that doesn't really help you as a manager. Right? Like at 4.4 or 4.5, there are other options you want to look at. De Bruyne for Salah long term. I wouldn't go long term. I wouldn't go beyond Salah for long term because as soon as the Wolves fixture is done, he has Fulham and then he has a good run of fixtures again. And you also want him for the double game week, which is game week 19, I suppose. So they have Fulham, Tottenham, Crystal, West Brom, Newcastle, and a double game week with probably Man United and Burnley. So you want him for those fixtures. Which will be fit for this game week? Yes. What do you think? Because I'm thinking of replacing Robertson with Cancelo, and I don't have a bench option. So if Chilwell doesn't play, I'm done. It's okay. Understand that fact that with so many injuries, every team is going to be having at least three or four players injured. Some teams might have two, and some teams might not have players injured. But even if you field 10 playing players this week, it's more than enough. Don't overthink. Don't take a lot of hits, -8, -12. Don't do that. A -4 at at max, and do not play your free hits for this game week. Unless your entire team is injured, don't do that. And a lot of this will improve once the pressers are done on Thursday and Friday because a lot of the injury concerns like Rashford and every Mitchell will be cleared up. Even Castagna will get cleared up. Uh, I take ZH in place of Salah. Fair enough move for the next three. Will Brewster start in the coming game weeks? He'll start if he's fit. He has some injury concerns, so if he's fit, he'll start. Is Rodriguez a good buy? Bruno or ZH? Rodriguez, I'm not sure if he's the best because he hasn't been performing really great without Richarlison. Now with Richarlison, it's a 50-50 bluff. I would pick DCL and Richarlison if I had to double up on Everton. Preferably DCL, obviously, and if I had to double up with Richarlison, maybe. Bruno or ZH, I would go. If you want to captain this week, someone Bruno, but otherwise ZH for the long term. Ferran Torres is a very good pick. A lot of people were actually asking me about Ferran Torres. The only factor involved with him is the rotation. I am not really confident of who Pep will play on the right wing because he has Mahrez, he has Foden, Bernardo Silva, and Ferran Torres, who all can play in that position. So there's never guarantee that he'll start and play the 90. If he does start a lot of those good fixtures, then he'll get some points. But then it totally depends upon whether you are ready to take that risk or not. I have both Werner and Kane. I have to switch out. We answered that, I think. Kufa or Cancelo? Cancelo without a doubt. Uh, Diaz, Kilman, and Chilwell as defense starting any session. That's a good defense, to be honest. If you have three playing defenders, you really don't want anything else this game week. Who to include in the 11, McCarthy or Martinez? If you're asking me for this week, I would include Martinez. I'm not really confident that if they'll keep a clean sheet, but there's a higher chance with Martinez, in my opinion. Regularly on Cal Walker, Peter Robertson, Lamptey, and Dallas. Which three should I pick this week? Not regularly on, in my opinion. Robertson, if you have him, obviously Lamptey, and then go with Dallas. I feel like Leeds can still keep a clean sheet against Arsenal because Arsenal are really poor attacking wise. They've not created a lot, but you can actually play Kyle Walker Peter as, if you like to. I would actually fancy Dallas also because of his attacking potential. Who, according to you, will be the best City attacker to own? Kevin De Bruyne, without a doubt. He's on penalties. He's been attacking. He's been pushing forward. Sterling, I would have suggested Sterling, but he's not looking in form, so I'm not really confident of Sterling. And Kevin De Bruyne it is. If Salah tests positive again before game week 9, how long will he have to self isolate? So there's a UK rule which says that the player has to self isolate for 10 days after he's tested. I think positive or negative. I think negative. Yeah, so that's a rule I read, and I think everyone can confirm with the UK guidelines. So if that's the case, then he'll definitely miss out on game week 10 as well because he'll not get time to train with the team. So I think if he's tested again, if he's tested positive, then it's a self assure. Is ZH a nailed on starter? Yes, he's a nailed on starter. He's probably more nailed on than Werner in the team. Werner will get rotated. For everyone who has Werner, I'm not confident that he will be rotated this week, but do expect him getting rotated in the next couple of weeks because Lampard clearly mentioned that he wants to manage his time. I don't see him managing his time in the Champions League because that's exactly what he brought Werner to Chelsea for, and it's the Premier League where he'll get benched. Even in the Burnley fixture, he was supposed to get benched. So for the Werner owners, it might be a shocking week this week if he's benched. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched in one of the next two games. Considering Salah to Rashford and doubling up alongside Fernandes, too much Man United. Yeah, I wouldn't double up because the next three fixtures look good on paper. West Brom isn't the worst team defensively. They're conceding goals. In the last four fixtures, they haven't conceded a lot of goals. So I personally feel like United would not score more than two goals in that fixture. Uh, and it won't come from a lot of players. It has to be channelized either through Martial or through Rashford or through Bruno. For me, it looks like a fixture from Martial more than Rashford and Bruno. So wouldn't double up on United for that fixture. Guys, we'll take up the questions first and then we'll do the team suggestions because we have a lot to cover. And best three front three on wildcard. On wildcard, I would pick DCL, Bamford, and I would go Vardy, or probably Werner if you want to captain him this week. I have Pulisic and Salah. Who should I take out? Both of them, it looks like they'll miss the game. And who should I bring in? Already have Bruno and Grealish. ZH for sure, and Kevin De Bruyne as the guy. Must have players for the wildcard team. Must have players. Go with the midfield of ZH, Grealish, Mane because Salah is injured, and Bruno if you can, or go Vardy up top, and with the 4.5 midfielder then, and Calvert Lewin, Bamford in my opinion are must haves. In defense, Chilwell is a must have. You can probably go for a City defender. I feel like they can keep a lot of clean sheets, and try getting in Justin or Fofana if you can for the Leicester defenders. Bruno for Salah and Kevin De Bruyne for Son. Should I take a -4 for these two transfers? Yeah, do it. I feel like they're decent transfers. Vardy for the next 4 game weeks or Bamford currently on wildcard? Vardy, I feel like Bamford is a hold on for the entire season, but if you had to pick only for the next 4, Vardy looks like the guy because you can probably even captain Vardy because he's getting a lot of penalties as well. I'm not really sure if any of us will actually captain Bamford. I'm not taking Bruno because I don't trust United players coming from a United fan. I actually was considering Bruno, but then I was like, I'm not really sure and confident if United can create that many chances. And hence, I even dropped the idea of getting Bruno. Kufar or Target or Lamptey? Target looks like the guy for clean sheet potential. If you want attacking returns and not really bothered with clean sheets, go for Lamptey. I have cash. Do I change James Rodriguez to ZH? Not before Fulham. I wouldn't do that before Fulham because I feel like James Rodriguez has a similar ceiling as ZH has against Newcastle. Don't do it unless it's a free. I mean, unless you want ZH desperately, I wouldn't do it. Should I sell Trent? Yes. He's injured and he isn't doing good. He's a lot of money invested back there. Don't do it. Cavani, I'm not really confident of how he'll perform because it's his first 90 minutes. Wouldn't invest in any other United asset apart from Bruno or Rashford. Marshall, again, he might do good in the next fixture, but I'm not really confident, and his stats are not great, so wouldn't invest right away. Mohammed, that directly answers your question as well. So Rashford is the guy if he's fit. Also, make sure you keep checking the stories before like 48 hours before the deadline on our channel, on our page FPL tips underscore underscore, because every injury update will be posted there. So it will help you making your decision. And delay your transfers as late as possible. Abraham for Chelsea, a good choice. Yes, for the next 3 fixtures, we're going to discuss Abraham as a pick. We were going to do it, we'll discuss it now. He's been performing really decent. Like if you want a punt around 7.57 million, you can go for Abraham. But do you really want to go for a punt over Bamford or Dominic Calvert-Lewin? That really pops up in mind. And also at that similar price, you can go for Richarlison and double up on the Everton for the next 3 fixtures. Abraham does look good, but I wouldn't bring him over the other options available in attack. Thousand getting rid of Salah and buying him back in 2 game weeks. Nihal, we already discussed this, and if he's tested positive again before the deadline, definitely do it. And if you're wildcard, then definitely don't waste that place for Salah. Get in Mane, Bruno, Kevin De Bruyne, whoever you want, and then bring him later on. Who should I transfer out for Son? Uh, I already have Bruno, Grealish, Ziyech, or Zaha. Grealish or Ziyech out of the two looks like the guy. Okay, guys, we were talking about all of the stats. We're going to discuss stats for defenders, attackers, forwards, and defensive and attacking stats for all the teams. So we'll just quickly wrap up all the questions and then we'll switch to the stats part. And for everyone who's not liked the stream, go ahead and hit the like button. We have over 50 people watching and not even 50 likes. Come on, guys. Yes, this is the exact stat I was talking about. The fewest big chances conceded are by Newcastle, but again, as it does not reflect in the scoreline. I mean, they're conceding a lot of goals. I'm already taking a -4 to make the change. Who should I prioritize, Salah or Pulisic? Pulisic. Uh, do you get put off players because other people in the league have them? If people choose to have same players, you'll get the same points. You can't pull as much as. I feel like you should. I actually did that mistake while I was playing in the last couple of game weeks, and I feel like we need to get over that part that the other people, the league leader has some player and we can't get the same player because eventually you need to pick the good players. Trust me, each player will make some mistake and some bizarre move. Pick the right players and you'll keep on climbing in your table because you don't want a bad result. You always want to target that 65, 70 mark, 70 points mark, and pick the right players. Don't worry about their ownership. Don't worry about who has them or not. Set goals now onwards because game week 8 is where on you can climb the table, climb the overall ranks. Till now, it is okay if you're 2 million, 4 million, 5 million. Now is the point where you need to switch and gear up, set your table and mark and pick the right player. Don't go behind on differentials and ownerships, or if like suppose a league leader has bought in ZH or Grealish or Bruno, don't worry that they have Bruno, so you'll share punch and you can't cover the gap. You'll get ample of chances to cover the gap. A simple triple captain would also cover the gap. So just pick the right players. Best three captains for game week 9. Mane, in my opinion, is one of the best options. Werner, if he starts, I'm not really sure if he'll start, but Werner. Bruno again is a very good option. I would actually fancy Vardy as well. My wildcard team is Martinez, Tier, Chilwell, Justin Lamb, Tekilman, Kufal, Grealish, ZH, Mane, Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, DCL, Bamford, and Brewster. Perfect team in my opinion. Nothing I would change. And that's the ideal template for the wildcard. I mean, there's nothing to change about it. Fulham are going down next year, definitely. ZH for Sterling, wouldn't do it this week. I mean, probably hold on for another couple of weeks with Sterling. I've taken out a free hit for this week, so looking to get the points, most points as possible. It's tricky to get free hit. Like focus on your defense. If you get the defenders right, you'll probably score high. Kane out looks like the move at the moment, Aditya. Thanks, Kazim, for the like. I have Rashford and Kane, Robbo, one free transfer. Who two should I remove? I think depends on if you want Rashford for this week and if he's fit, play him. And Kane out and Robertson out. Mitchell to target or Mitchell to another 4 million defender. Upgrade Bissouma to Suchek. If there is no other transfer you want to make, Mitchell to target is the guy you want to. It is the move you want to make at the moment. If you have no other fires to put off. Do you think Schmeichel will play on Sunday? We'll get to know about him after the presses because no team has been providing injury updates. It's only with the national teams, and there's no update about him at the moment. Isn't double game week best for triple captain? It's not really the best because there are going to be multiple double game weeks. Depends on the fixture. You can actually either play bench boost or triple captain. I prefer bench boost because then you have 15 players having two matches each, which is about 30 games to score points. But nevertheless, you can actually triple captain in a double game week too. DCL captain against Fulham is a good choice. He'll score a goal probably and hopefully, but the only problem I have with DCL is the amount of chances he gets is not a lot. So he's relying on a couple of few or a handful of chances for the game, and I'm not really sure if I want to see my captain getting only 5 chances a game. Between Grealish and DCL, I would go Grealish captain if I had to. Between Grealish, Vardy, and DCL, I would go Vardy because with no Joe Gomez, I feel like there's no pace to track back Vardy, and if Castani is fit, it's the perfect ideal situation for Leicester to dominate and win this game. Although they've never lost, never won against Liverpool, uh, especially at their away from home, but hopefully then Vardy can do something or probably get a penalty, even if they lose a match. I have put him as in my free hit team just because he's blanked so many he could score. Uh, Even though they have been good, should I take that risk or not? You probably need to take a couple of risks on the free hit, so you go ahead with it. What Grealish as a captain is decent. I don't see that a very high scoring game because Brighton are defensively stat wise one of the best teams in the league, but it's a decent shout. I mean, if you have Bruno or someone else, you can probably go there. Uh, Bruno's sub last night was tactical. It was a tactical switch to make it 4-4-2 for the team. Uh, actually, Mohammed, if you're going for a differential, go for Richarlison. I think he might be a better differential than Jimenez. Although there's some injury concern with Richarlison with a knock, so wait for the deadline update. But apart from that, I would prefer him over Jimenez. Your opinion about defenders of Burnley and Sheffield? Only Burnley can still keep a clean sheet. I am not sure if Sheffield can keep a clean sheet. That's the bottom line. And exactly, Sheffield have been worse defensively. Yeah, we'll do the surprise segment. Okay, we'll start digging up the stats. -4 for Grealish depends on whom you're removing. If you're removing an injured player, yeah, go for it. I've got Barkley and Grealish both starting. They've got been excellent. Surely they'll get a decent amount of points, right? Not really on a free hit. I wouldn't double up on a free hit. Definitely not. What do you think about Southampton defenders? Kyle Walker-Peters or Vestergaard? I think if you want to own a defender for Southampton, it has to be Kyle Walker-Peters. Okay, so we'll quickly switch up to the next segment. Hit for Foden to Grealish. Yeah, do it. That's exactly what I'll do, I think. that. Can you guys let me know if you guys can see this clearly, or should we zoom in a bit? Okay, cool. A couple of people are saying zoom in, so we'll just zoom in to 100 to 10. I'll just make it 120. That's the best. Making it 130 or 140 will keep it out of the screen, so that's the best you can see. So okay, we just keep. I'll just take you guys through the stats. I keep looking, and you guys will eventually understand what I'm talking about when it comes to forwards. So we'll first go through forwards, then midfielders, defenders, and teams as well. When we come to teams, we'll discuss about captaincy, because then you'll understand that which teams have been conceding the most number of big chances or shots, and which teams are defensively better. These stats are for the last 4 games week, as we asked you guys for on the story on Instagram. So okay, in the last 4 game weeks, Bamford is definitely on the top of the charts. You will see Kane a lot, but the name that you will see a lot again is Vardy. Vardy, not a lot of people are talking about him, but he's been performing one of the best in the league at the moment. I mean, Vardy again for shots is fourth. It's not bad. I mean, 9 shots is not that bad. He's not as high as Kane because Kane had a very good game against in game week 4, I think. But if you make it for the last 2 game weeks, Vardy was first. Again, for shot inside the box, it's I think Bamford is top of the charts, and then we have Kane, Calvert-Lewin, and Vardy. So Vardy is consistently posting that numbers. A lot of people are talking he's only relying on penalties, but that's not the case. His minutes per goal is also nice. It's 68, which is decent, which is better than Calvert-Lewin, Kane, or Bamford in the last 4 fixtures. I think he's the best. Martial, I put Martial in because a lot of people are discussing Martial, but if you look at his expected goals, is point 0.3, shots on target 0, shots inside the box 1, and total shots 1 in the last 4 fixtures. I know he's not played a lot of games, but still, as an attacker, when you don't have a shot on target where there's only one shot you've taken, you probably want to avoid that player. Coming to Tammy Abraham, I specifically put this player as I discussed. He has 0 big chances, but he's been linking up a lot of play. He has 6 shots, all inside the box, and 3 on target, and had an expected goal of around point 0.5. So it's a decent punt, but It's not better than either of Watkins, Werner, uh, Calvert-Lewin, or Bamford. So I wouldn't go that way either. Trent for Chilwell or Cresswell, go for Chilwell. Pope or Patricio. Long-term, Patricio is still better. Expected goal involvements, we'll take a look at this as well. The goal is basically just for reference. Bamford still high on expected goal involvements. He's first for non-penalty XG as well. Vardy is second for expected goals with 3.53 expected goal involvements. So Vardy again is one of the highest players. This is for the last 4 fixtures where I think he's not playing for one. He did not play for one of the game weeks as well. So in the last 2 fixtures especially, you can see Vardy getting up to form, and I feel like for Kane the best replacement, if you don't have Bamford, go for him, but don't expect him to get a lot of points. But I think Vardy is the guy you want to go over. Between Adams and Watkins, or maybe Bamford, it's very clear that Bamford stands out in almost all of the stats. If you look at stats, shots inside the box, again, Bamford is top. Watkins is below Vardy as well. Adams is again eighth out of the list, but seventh out of the list. But it's fine. I mean, between the three, you can clearly see Bamford is better. Go for Watkins if you want to for the next, only because of the fixtures. And I would avoid Adams altogether. Abraham and Marshall are definitely not in contention. Calvert-Lewin again, he's not getting a lot of chances. You can clearly see that he's scoring minutes per goal is 180, but he's been taking those few chances and scoring them. So his conversion rate is way too high. Guys, let me know if you want to get me let like mention all of the topics you want to discuss on the stats you want to check out or anything in the chat. I'll be reading the chat. Don't worry. And so probably we'll move on to midfielders. We've been preparing this for a while now. What about Wilson? I think Wilson is injured for this week, so there was no point to bring him in into the contention because it's about this week. Nobody's going to buy him this week, so hence Wilson is not in the list. His injury update at the moment is injured. His status is injured. For very detailed injury updates, I think once the presses come in, you'll get to know more about it. Now, this is the section we're going to. Can you guys hear me? I hope my voice is not audible. Like, is it audible? Am I audible or not? Let me know in the chat if I'm audible. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Grealish is top for big chances created. If you look at big chances total, which is these are the big chances they have got as a player. They're not created, but these are the big chances they've received. And Mane and Salah are top of the chart. So it also reflects that Mane is getting into good positions, but he's not been able to convert them as much as maybe a Salah or a Grealish. Grealish is again second, or you could say third because he's on three. Zaha again is posting good numbers. People are actually overlooking Zaha because he's playing in the forward role and he's decent in that role. The only fact is that Crystal do not create a lot of chances. On a 3 week punt, I wouldn't mind fancying Zaha. For chances created, this is a shocking stat when I was looking at it. Barkley tops the list with 15 chances created. Second is Bruno, and the third is Grealish, who's way too below from the first one. So clearly, you can see that the formation change for Aston Villa has worked. With Trezeguet out of the team, Grealish was not given that liberty to attack as much as he is in the last 2 game weeks, and most of the chances created are in that Arsenal game. So clearly, the formation change is working for Aston Villa, and if they continue to play in that formation, Grealish is maybe not the best pick, but it will help. Like Barkley is not the best pick, but it will help Grealish to get into better areas. Bruno again, he's creating chances. All of his shots are probably out. Most of them are outside the box, and he's the guy for United. I mean, the formation is supporting him. He's given the free role. He's on a free roam in that area. He's playing as a number 10. Decent pick as a captain shout as well against West Brom, but I don't expect a lot of goals. Probably a one or two. He did get lucky with the second goal in the last match. Again, it could be a one goal, one assist scenario for him this week. Happy belated Diwali to you and your followers. May you have the light in your life, and probably everyone have a green arrow as well. What do you think about Weltman? I feel like it's not the best pick you want to own. There are a lot of options in place of him, so not necessarily you want to bring him in your team. For shots, Bruno tops the chart. He's 15 shots. Salah is on 15. Rashford is on 14. That's a very good start for Rashford and the owners. For the people who have Rashford, Rashford is a very good differential option, captain option this week, and he's been cutting inside. Now with Tellis in the team, Rashford does not have to play wide. So for the people who are going for Bruno, you can actually look at Rashford for a differential for the next three as well, because he'll be playing inside and he'll take up a lot of chances. You've seen that Rashford is also having that Vardy kind of a scoring streak. When he starts scoring, he scores for a couple of game weeks, and he has been. You can see him in that streak. Probably Rashford differential for Bruno as well. So if you don't double up, but either or is good. If you have budget issues for Bruno, you can actually go for Rashford, because Telles will take up all the width, and Rashford will definitely cut inside and get a lot of shots. Aubameyang as a differential, I'm not really confident of the Arsenal attack altogether. We'll come to the team's part and you realize that Arsenal have not created a lot of chances. Okay, sorry for the mishappening. Okay, so we lost that text. Okay, never mind. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay, for shots inside the box, we have Salah top, Grealish top again. So you can see Grealish is the most involved midfielder, apart from chances created. So if you look at it, ZH is not in the ZH is third last in the list, just above WordPress and Rodriguez. And if for the people of Rodriguez, you can look at the list that Rodriguez is the lowest. So clearly, he's in more in chances, and it's not like he's creating a lot of chances. He's probably like what eighth or ninth for chances created as well. I might not discuss all of these players in detail, which I have a long list. I have a couple of players I've put in on purpose. We'll discuss that. But for everyone, if I'm not picking up players and if you want me to discuss on it, mention it, and you can still have a look on the table. Don't worry, I did the capital S and T on purpose. Otherwise, the OBS would mess up. Where do you get the stats from? Nehal, the stats are from Understat and FBref. So you can probably look at those stats over there. We've made the table, so it's not like we have got it from somewhere. Who can perform better with Kevin De Bruyne versus Tottenham or Vardy versus Liverpool? Kevin De Bruyne. Foreign to ZH or Grealish, bro. Tough call. That's exactly what we're discussing. It depends on how you read the fixtures. For me, it's a Grealish. Uh, Patrick Van Aanholt worth a 3 week punt by taking a hit. I'm not really sure. For clean sheets, yes, but for a 3 week punt on a hit for a defender, that's something that doesn't really excite me because if they concede a goal, it's not. It definitely does not make it worth it. Who should I buy this week, Bamford or Watkins? Bamford, I have 11.1 in the bank, and I'm thinking of getting someone like Zaha Grealish. Between the two, Grealish. Can you share your sheet? Yeah, we can share the sheet. I'm not really sure where, and how should I share it. Uh, really appreciate for you for making this. Thanks, Sachin. That's exactly we discussed that there's a special segment on the stream tonight. And coming to the expected goal involvement, Zaha is actually top for goal involvements. Second is Salah. Then we have Grealish and then Bruno. And then Mane and then Bruno. Surprisingly, Barkley is over De Bruyne, Rashford, Son, ZH for the last four fixtures. So clearly, you see that Aston Villa are turning the fixtures up, and probably between ZH and Grealish, if I had to, I would go with the fixtures for Grealish and pick him. And that's the exact kind of dilemma I have as well for my transfer because I have to pick one of them, and it looks like I'm going to go Grealish because of the fixtures. Who do you suggest as captain this week? It's really tough this week. If you have a player like Mane or maybe Bruno or Kevin or a differential option like Grealish, go for it. But apart from that, stick with any player who's gonna any midfielder. Probably Kevin De Bruyne if you have him. Rashford is a very good differential option. So Dhanshu, will you make a Discord? I'm not really sure if I make a Discord. Not especially because we have not a lot of people on it, and since we have a small team and we're managing Instagram and YouTube together. So Discord will be another burden. So I'm not really sure if we'll make a Discord. We'll post everything, whatever is required on Instagram. Thanks, Varun. Nehal, the websites are FBref and Understat. What's the timeline for XGI? Last 4 game weeks? Yes. Every stat is for the last 4 game weeks. Chilwell or Zumas? Chilwell. Any news on Rashi? No. Should we not miss getting a Man City defender? There's nothing as not miss, but if you get them for the good fixtures, yeah, they'll provide clean sheets. De Bruyne, Fernandez, or Mane in place of Salah? Oh, that's a tough one. Probably De Bruyne because it's long term. If you want a captain one in place in game week, probably 9. If you don't have a captain option, go for Mane or Bruno. What's the most minus points do you think is best to take and not go above? -4 is the max I would take. I would recommend putting up some common questions in the stream like you did with captain picks like replacements for Salah, etc. We will do it because I was preparing this table. I didn't get a lot of time, but we can do that as well. The captain picks will return obviously on the deadline stream. Okay, we'll quickly dig up the stats for defenders and teams. I think the teams will take a lot more time, so we'll quickly do the defenders. Okay, so again we'll do this to. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. Chances created. There is no doubt that Cancelo is the best defender. Second is Chilwell, then it's Cresswell, and you'll clearly see why I say so. Chances created, Cancelo is top, Chilwell next, Cresswell, Robertson, Ailing. I put in Tierney as well because I thought his underlying stats are not that bad when you look at him, and he's providing a couple of clean sheets as well, so it's not a bad option. Lamptey isn't the best for chances created, neither is Samedo. Doherty and Kufal have not been more to either. If you look at crosses, that is when Lamptey comes into the picture, and he's fifth for crosses. Cresswell is again the highest, so you clearly see that the best defender to own for attacking returns from West Ham is Cresswell. Robertson is second for crosses, and surprisingly, Chilwell and uh, Cancel are not that high in the list. Although for shots and final third touches, Cancel again rises up the rankings by slightly, not much. Not for shots inside the box because Cancel isn't. And Lamptey is the highest for shots inside the box, and then there's Chilwell. So again, Lamptey proves his worth when it comes to goal potential, and at 4.6, I feel like it's the best option. Any news on Mitchell? No, there's no news. I don't see him getting fit for this week. Planning on to take a -8 because the season has been very bad so far. I want players that I'm positive about getting. Chilwell, Kevin De Bruyne, Vardy. Uh, -8 is not the week. Probably split it because Vardy has a tough fixture this week. So split that minus, if and don't do it unless required. ZH or James Rodriguez? ZH, I feel like he's the guy. Unless you own Rodriguez, hold on to him. But if you want to buy someone, ZH. Next game week, Antonio or Wilson for Jimenez. Antonio, if he's fit, definitely, without a doubt. Possibilities for wildcard. My current team is Guaita, McCarthy. I think if you go up the chat, Sachin, there's a wildcard team that I think Kiran posted. Kiran, if you could put it up again in the chat, that would be really helpful. That's a very good wildcard template and exactly what I would suggest. So, Kiran, if you could please put it in the chat, and then we'll continue with the stats. Gavin, the chances of Chilwell playing are about 80%. And when it comes to final third touches, this is again where Samedo, Chilwell, Lampton, Cancelo all line up about the same number of touches, which is 126, 121, 120, 118. So not much of a difference there. Expected goals and assists is where it gets slightly tricky. Lamptey is way too high as compared to others, especially Cancelo or Doherty. He's 0.56. That's actually higher than a couple of midfielders as well and attackers as well. For assist threat, clearly Cancel is the highest. And there's Ailing and Cresswell again. So if you look at the hierarchy for best options defender wise, I would recommend Cancelo as a good differential because he'll keep clean sheets as well. Chilwell is the best. Then I would recommend Cresswell. Cancelo both 50-50. I would still keep Lamptey because of the attacking potential. Definitely not a Robertson and Kufa, Cancelo over Cresswell over Kufa for sure. If you have the likes of Doherty or Regulion, probably want to avoid them for now. Barkley or Yota? I would go for the next five fixtures. I would actually go Yota because Barkley is creating. He's not been involved like a lot inside the box. So I would actually go Yota because then eventually there has to be someone who's scoring goals for Liverpool, and it has to be either Mane or Yota. Sachin, when it comes to strikers, I think Bamford, DC are very good options. Now, if you look at his team, he has five playing midfielders. So you can either give up on Mane or Bruno, uh, and or De Bruyne and go Vardy up front for Brewster. But then you'll have to take a call between Fernandes and Vardy. I feel like Fernandes for this week is decent, and Vardy up from the next week is good. So it depends on what kind of a player you are, and depending on that, make a move. Hold Son or take him out for Fernandes for a -4. If you're going to captain Fernandes, do it. Otherwise, don't. Okay, so the most interesting stat that even I was looking forward to is the teams. I can't really. Okay, I'll try to zoom in because it's really big and small. We'll put it in two halves because expected goal considered is where all the defensive stats are, and beyond that, it's all the. I'm not really sure if this will work. Okay, so we'll have to put it in small. Hold to Mane or sell for Kevin De Bruyne? Hold to Mane for this week, obviously. Okay, so I know this table is way too big and it's too small to read, but still, I'll read out the stats, the important stats and teams for you guys. Double up on Man City, yes, if you can. Yota or Grealish without a doubt. So for the last 4 game weeks, big chances conceded. Sheffield United are top of the table without a doubt. Leeds are second, and Everton are third. West Ham followed. The only reason I fancy Bruno getting Bruno, and I was also thinking about it, is because West Ham have conceded 8 big chances in the last 4. If you look at it per gaming, it's not that high because it's just 2 big chances per gaming. But when you compare it to their earlier performances, it's actually way more than they conceded earlier. Man United, Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham, Brighton, Chelsea, Wolves have barely conceded big chances in the last 4, especially United, Man City, Newcastle, and Tottenham, Brighton as well. That's the reason I'm not really confident where Brighton will let Aston Villa score a lot of goals, and I'm not really uh, recommending a double up with Barkley and Grealish. Grealish will still concede goals because Brighton's stats are really misleading. They have the best stats, but they have a lot of goals conceded as well. So they are misleading, but they're not a team which will concede 3 or 4 goals. Best captain Kevin De Bruyne, Kane, Son, ZH, Grealish, or TCL. Out of the lot, I would captain De Bruyne or ZH. I think you can hear me now. Just let me know if I'm not on mute. Have Reece James and my team what to do in the next game weeks. For the next 2 or 3 game weeks, put him, play him. I think fair enough. He'll start. Guys, I think the chat lagged or something. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm not really sure. Okay, so these are the big chances conceded. The top 3 or 4 are Sheffield United, Leeds, Everton, West Ham. West Brom and Fulham have also the similar stats with West Ham. And the best defenses have been Brighton, Tottenham, Newcastle, Man City, and Manchester United. Tottenham is majorly because of their good fixtures and they haven't faced really good opposition. West Ham is also alarming because they faced a easy number of or like teams and they're still considered a lot of big chances. So that's something alarming at the moment. Goal chances conceded. Newcastle are top for goal chances conceded. Now, this is the exact stat which really clarifies why Newcastle conceded a lot of goals. They have not conceded big chances, but they've conceded goals from really poor chances. That's exactly what I was saying. And they're top for goal attempts conceded. 75. Sheffield United again are 68. So you can see that Sheffield United are consistently not performing good defensively, and you probably want to avoid their defenders. And you can target their team for attacking returns as well. Aston Villa have also considered 61 chances, Crystal, Everton, Burnley, and the least number of chances are considered by Brighton. But when you look at the clean sheets, they've not kept clean sheets. Again, they've conceded the least number of chances, but they've conceded goals from really poor chances. Man United again doing decent. I'm not really. Their stats are really good. If you look at 2 big chances conceded, 27 goal shots only, second best for goal attempts conceded. But I'm not really confident when it comes to bringing in Teles for a defensive option. If they keep a clean sheet in the next match against West Brom, I might even consider it, or against probably Southampton. But before that, I wouldn't. Should I take a -8 to replace Kane and Son with Vardy Bruno or -4 to Son to Marshall James? -4 irrespectively. And for Son, I'm not sure if you can bring Marshall or James for Son. Take out Son and keep Salah, or take out Salah and take Son out the following game week. If Salah is tested positive again on Saturday or before Saturday, take out Salah. Reece James to cancel a good, yes, it's a good option. Best Salah replacement: Bruno, Kevin De Bruyne, Rashford. Uh, Kevin De Bruyne is the best of the lot. Could play with only Grealish, Son, and James in midfield. If he's tested positive again, then remove him. Vardy for Kane this week or next week? It depends. If it's for a hit, don't do it this week. I was planning to do it, but I might just abstain from doing it because of the Salah injury. If it's not for a hit, do it irrespectively. Yeah, he tested positive today, but there's going to be another test I think before the deadline. So if he's tested positive again, he'll not be able to play the Brighton fixture as well. In that case he'll miss 2 fixtures, 2 relatively easy fixtures, and then he has Wolves, which is a tough fixture. So you might want to move on. Goal attempts conceded in the box. I'm really sure that Sheffield United are top of the list. Yes, they are. Everton is also top of the list, joint tabletop for it. And then we have Aston Villa, Newcastle, Crystal, Burnley. Newcastle again on the top, in the top four. So you can see why Newcastle concede a lot of goals. Brighton again best for goal attempts considered inside the box. 12, only 12 in the last four. Man United again the second best. Man City again third best. Chelsea, Liverpool, you and Leicester as well. So you're seeing a very similar pattern when it comes to defense. That Brighton are doing good statistically, but not keeping clean sheets. United have been posting good. I think it's because of the Arsenal and Chelsea fixture. I would actually not really rate the defense as of now because I know it's more because of those two fixtures. Man City is consistent with the clean sheets and defensive stats, and so is Chelsea. Those are the only two defenses, and Leicester I would actually bank on at the moment. I would have banked on a Liverpool, but with the injuries, you can't really guarantee a lot of potential out there. This is a stat that excites me a lot. Minutes per big chances conceded. Now, I'll actually arrange it from worst to best. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So the worst is Sheffield United, then it's Leeds and Everton. West Brom again. So irrespectively, West Brom are considered only one big chances, two big chances if you consider take it 90 minutes. So it's not that bad. Sheffield United again at the worst team. They're not the whipping boys, but they're the team to target at the moment. Leeds again, exactly. If you have Obama, you can probably go for captaincy there as well because Leeds tend to concede big chances or chances, uh, a lot of big chances in the game. So if Arsenal attack well, then it could be a case where they concede a goal. And Everton, I was pretty much confident on Everton's defensively leaky defense, and that is the reason I was going to captain Bruno last week, which I didn't unfortunately. But exactly the reason why I'm targeting Everton. Minutes per big chance. I'm not sure if we need to go through minutes per big chance considered. And expected goals considered top of the table Everton, Sheffield, West Ham, Fulham. So you see a pattern out there where and Leeds. So the teams I would target defensively would be Everton, Sheffield, Fulham, Leeds, and then West Ham, and probably then the likes of West Brom and Newcastle. Again, West Brom is not in the top five, so you see that United might score against them, but not by win by a big margin. Uh, I heard Moore is out for 3 weeks, not for 3 weeks, at max two. How's that? How's target in for Robo and then Kevin De Bruyne for Son? Get in a Leicester defender if you want to, or probably a City or Chelsea defender at the moment. Ferran Torres may be someone to bank on getting better and gaining points after the Spain game. Don't really read into the international break a lot. Their international form does not reflect in their club form. The only problem I discussed earlier in the stream was rotation. United fan here after 6-1 thumping. We've been playing the double pivot, shore up the defense. That is why we are posting good defensive stats. Yeah, I think Matic and Fred. That's the reason. McTominay as well. You're playing two central defensive midfielders that are actually helping you and giving Bruno a very free role in the team, which is also helping Bruno. Take Oba or Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne. Maguire. If you're on free hit or something, you might want to take him this week, but I won't take him long term. Van Bissaka, same, it's same. I wouldn't take him long term because I'm not sure if the United can sustain this defensive form. Okay, now we're coming to attacking stats. Which teams should you probably look for captaincy options, and which teams have been performing the best in the last four? I would actually have preferred stats for the last two game weeks for this segment because I feel like the team form is really very short term and it depends on the last couple of game weeks and not a long period of time. Hi, Alan. We're discussing some stats. Big chances created. I think top of the table is Liverpool, then Aston Villa, Tottenham, Leeds, Crystal, Chelsea. So clearly, two fixtures that you want to target is the Chelsea fixture, which is against Newcastle, and then probably Aston Villa is a decent chance. They're against a defensively tight opposition, which is Brighton. Liverpool game would have been perfect captaincy option for Salah. Without a doubt, I would have captain Salah, but again, he's not available. I don't see any other captain options solely because Man City uh, maybe a punt on Kevin De Bruyne, but not really confident. When you look at United in the list, they're not in the top 10. They're down there who've created five big chances in the last four fixtures. So that really doesn't make me very confident of captaining Bruno. Rashford is a differential captain and is worth it because he's a differential and you're not very expected of him or to score very high. But with Bruno, I'm not really sure. But also because West Brom are defensively decent. Arsenal, yeah, we were talking about Aubameyang. Arsenal are third worst for big chances created in the last four games. They've created only two big chances in the last four. Clearly, why you wouldn't fancy Arsenal attack and Aubameyang. Yes, Leeds are very leaky defensively, concede a lot of big chances, but Arsenal have created barely anything. Minutes per big chance is 95, so they barely don't create a big chances in a game. Uh, that's the reason I don't want to go towards Arsenal, and I would play Dallas in the team and fancy a Leeds clean sheet. I know it's unlikely, but I would still fancy it happening over any other team getting a clean sheet. Should I confirm my transfer or wait till deadline? Wait till deadline for sure. Who should I transfer out first, Robbo or Saiz? Saiz. The Brighton game for Villa is a good matchup. If I don't get Bruno Rash in for Salah, Grealish would be my captain. It's a fair match. I think both sides will score. Zaha or Werner for captain, that's a tough one. Uh, because Zaha is a decent fixer as well. I would go Werner, but the slight rotation around him, but still go Werner. Replace Salah with Kevin De Bruyne or Mane. If you want to captain Mane or Kevin De Bruyne long term, okay, we just quickly wrap up. Big chances total. Best Liverpool, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Crystal, Man City again is pretty much the same. There's not much difference. When it comes to shots, there's slight change in my opinion. Manchester United are first for shots. They've not created big chances, but taken a lot of shots. Although a lot of most of the shots are outside the box, which is a good thing when you have Bruno in your team. Sorry for this pause. And thoughts on ZH cap or DCL cap? ZH cap could be a good option, better than DCL. As I explained, DCL will not get a lot of chances, which as a captaincy option, I'm not really confident because uh, if your player is not getting a lot of chances, you don't fancy him scoring a lot. The ceiling is not high. He'll score, definitely he'll score. But the ceiling, when you talk about ceiling, it's not that high. So I would captain ZH if I had to. This week probably you can experiment with your captaincy as much as you can because everyone does not have a set captaincy option this week. Team for this week: Martinez, Chilwell, Konsa, Cresswell, Sun, Grealish, ZH, Fornals, Bamford, Kane, DCL. Uh, should I make any changes or it looks good for this week? It looks good. But United have a good number of shots and shots on target, so I trust Bruno. Yes, they have a good number of shots and shots on target. You can trust Bruno, as and we saw in the table, they are the best for shots. McCarthy, Cancelo, Dine, Chilwell, Lante, Reedwell, Zaha, Bruno, Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Vardy, Diesel, Bamford. How does this wildcard look? I'm still considering Salah, Kevin De Bruyne move. Make sure that you have space or money enough that when Salah is fit, you have him in your team. Mane or Bruno, I would fancy Bruno. Are you waiting for the negative test report from Salah or making the move tonight itself? I'm waiting for making all my moves till deadline. I'll be making all of my moves on the deadline stream unless it's really cut to cut with the price. I fear this could just be another Dybala situation. I'm not. It couldn't be a Dybala situation, but I still respectively will be waiting till the deadline. Okay, for shots, Leeds again. Leeds are second for shots. That really specifies that Bamford will get those chances, and Bamford is taking up a lot of those chances clearly, stating that he's better than Watkins in that situation. Aston Villa are fifth, Liverpool is third, Fulham surprisingly are fourth for shots. And yes, Mitrovic was also second or third for shots in the last post we did, but his accuracy is really poor. I mean, out of uh, 20 shots, his shots on target were 3 or 4, so that's a really poor conversion rate, and wouldn't go Fulham at all. Chelsea, City again posting good numbers. Newcastle, Burnley, Sheffield United, Crystal. These are teams which are posting bad numbers. when it comes to shots. So you can expect clean sheets against Newcastle, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Crystal, possibly in Leicester. This stat makes me worry about Vardy because there are not many shots. They're relying on penalties. They have the highest number of penalties in the game at the moment, which is 8. So it does say that yes, the penalties and the numbers for Vardy are not sustainable. But if it's sustainable enough for the next three fixtures, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at Vardy for the next 10. I'm looking at Vardy only for the next three. And when it comes to shots on target, Chelsea is the best with 24 shots on target. Then you have Man United, Southampton, Aston Villa, and City. So out and out, I feel like Aston Villa have been posting good numbers, and also we saw that Grealish is posting good numbers. So it could be a case where I choose Grealish over ZH. But both of them, if you can get both of them in your team, it's a good move to go with. Again, Arsenal is second last for shots on target. So clearly you can see how attacking wise they're not that great and not up to the mark. Brighton again, not great up to the mark. Newcastle again is not up to the mark. So is Sheffield United. So these are the teams you can expect clean sheets again. So probably a Burnley, Newcastle, Brighton, Sheffield United. So it's Chelsea. I don't remember who Sheffield United are against. Um, then you have Brighton against Aston. There's a clean sheet. Arsenal against Leeds. So there's a couple of clean sheet potentials out there. When you have a player and the price goes up, when you take them out, get extra cash or get something amount you paid, no. Yeah, slightly if the price goes up twice or something like that. If the price goes up even. Uh, who to captain ZH, Bruno, Mane, DCL? If you have Bruno or Mane, I would prefer Bruno out of the lot. Nihal, we do not know that yet. He's definitely missing out the Leicester game, but he's still in contention for the Brighton game if he tests negative in the next 2 days. There's a lot of uncertainty around that. Yes, should I transfer out Kane to Jesus? No, don't do that. Kane to Vardy if you have to stick to Kane. No, I'm not really confident on Jesus. Uh, Probably even Werner, but not Jesus. Jesus is a no go with Kun back. Yes, exactly. There'll be rotation there, and you don't want that. Uh, Kane to Vardy, Werner. I need money for my wildcard. Probably yes. Start Kyle Walker, Peter or Dallas. Uh, you can expect clean sheets in both games. It depends on if you're banking on attacking returns. But if you want to play safe, play Kyle Walker Peters. Don't fancy Dallas. And anyways, it looks like this is going to be rotation. So you might end up getting Dallas into an 11. It's time to say goodnight from India. Okay, I was going to wrap up the stream as well. So we'll quickly wrap up the stream as well. Do you think United is still a hit and a miss team? No, they're performing decent, to be honest. It's not a hit and miss. Thompson, Vardy captain, you can go for Vardy captain. Then, if you have him, you can go for him. It's not like he'll post great numbers, but it's a decent captaincy shout. Would you captain anyone between Grealish or DCL? I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. I would actually, if I bring in Bruno, I would captain Bruno. My transfer plan initially was Foden out, Kane out, Vardy in, and someone in. I was going to captain Vardy. So for the people who are having dilemma about Vardy, you can actually go and captain Vardy because if I have him in my team, I would captain him. But now it looks like I might bring in Bruno. Might have to bring in Bruno and Grealish or ZH, and then the captaincy might go to Bruno. Who is the best Robo replacement? Chilwell, Cancelo, or someone like Cresswell? Mohammed, we do the streams weekly, yes, and we do the deadline stream as well before the deadline, which is 1 hour before the deadline. So do join that, and we'll wrap up the stream here, guys. If you have any other last minute questions, do mention it, and in the chat, just mention it once. Did you like the segment where we did the stats part, and do you have any other stats we should pick up or do it in the stream? I know it's a long stream, but we had to go through the stats. Mention in the chat once which stats do you like and which stats should we do regularly. Alden, we discussed in detail by Cresswell over Kufal or Masuaku. Probably you should go back to the stream, check it once we did the stat part, and you'll realize by Cresswell is better than both of them. I have Rashford would bring in Bruno still. No, there's no need. Probably Rashford is decent enough if he's fit. How many points did you get last week? What's your highest point return. My highest was 132 once, not this year, but this year it was 90, I think, 1994. Last week it was a bad one. It was around 60 points, if I remember correctly. Thanks, Varun. Take out Sun and Kane next game week. Not next game week, but yeah, eventually. What's the status of Wilson? He's still injured. The stat was very good on defenders. Thanks, Santosh. Thank you for the stream, everyone. Saying good night, everyone. Just if there's any other stat you guys want us to do bring on the stream, mention them in the comments or DM me on Instagram. So we'll wrap up the stream. Alden, you definitely want to check out the stream entirely. There's a lot of we discussed about these stats as well. Okay, guys. So we'll wrap up the stream. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.